Welcome to the session. Here I'm starting with the series on Python or Python. It doesn't matter. What matters is how we pronounce it. It doesn't matter. What matters is it's one of the fastest growing language. If you ask me what terms, it might be in terms of the number of developers who are using it, or it might be in terms of the number of libraries it has, or it might be in the terms of one second, let me, yeah, or it might be in terms of the companies who are using it, or in terms of the areas we can implement it. So a lot many. So however you pronounce, it doesn't matter. What matters is its content, right? So in that way, let's start the introduction part of Python programming. We talk about GUI software development, web development, and we can use it everywhere. And that's why it's called as general purpose language, programming language. So in this video, we'll talk about what is Python, why it is so useful, and why we should learn it, and some more the variables and data types. So all such things we'll be discussing in this video. So what is Python? Python, as I have mentioned, it's a programming language. Of course, it is interpreted, it is object oriented as well as high level language. Now, does it means we cannot do procedures here? No, we can. It also supports procedural programming as well as object oriented. So it depends on our requirement, or I can say it depends on our purpose. We can use it in the way we want. But why the methods, formers like C, C++, Java, JavaScript, even though we have all these former programming languages, why Python is so famous? Now, some people say the Python is a new language. Do you agree with that? No, not exactly. Java has come into picture in 1995, whereas Python has come in 1989. So, which has come first? Definitely the Python, right? Why Java was so famous? Because it has come into picture to raise the enterprise market. In that way, everybody started using Java. But later, the advancement of machine learning, artificial intelligence, so when the researchers or the scientists, they don't want to spend much of their time in learning a new programming languages. So what they wanted is the easiest language available in the market. So already it was available, Python was available, and it's a damn easy. It is much simpler than C, C++, or Java, because it has a syntax where we have to follow those syntaxes. But when it comes to Python, nothing. Anybody can learn Java. Sorry, anybody can learn Python. Yeah, so that's the reason it's been inculcated in it's been introduced in the curriculum for the colleges as well as for the schools. So you might be thinking, who is using Python? Which are those companies who are using Python? Companies who uses Python, we have like Google, YouTube, Dropbox. Big companies uses Python. It might be they might be using it as a main language, or they might be using it as a supporting language. For example, about Google, it has so many features. Like some of the features, if you mention for the coding of Ada, they use Python. And one more example, if we say like Reddit, the website Reddit, which is famous, Big's website, even that's been written using Python. So like this, many companies uses, those are the applications of Python, we can say. And let's talk about the name of the Python, why it's been named Python. So it's not because the language or the code looks like snake. No, not exactly. The author of Python is a big fan of British comedy movie called Monty Python's Flying Circus. So he has named it. Since he's a big follower or a fan of that particular movie, he has named his invented program as Python. But at the beginning, it was, people were hesitated to. Later, everybody started liking it. So the same name, it's been used further. So in that way, the name of Python has come into picture. So now, you can ask me, like, can everybody learn Python? The answer is yes, because it's one of the easiest language to learn, and it has a less complexity. And even if you are from a non-technical background, you can, if you don't have a knowledge to write any code, you can start with the Python. Really, anybody. If I say Python came into picture just to help those people who don't know how to read a code. In fact, the children can learn Python. It's that easy. So that's about the features of Python. And if we talk about certain versions of Python, now it has multiple versions. It has 1.x, 2.x, 3.x. Of course, we'll be learning 3.x. And that means, it doesn't mean that 2.x is not there in the market. It is there, because the point 3, the 3.x is no completely different from point 2. Point 2x. Normally, about the programming languages like Java, what happens when Java 8 has come into picture? It was backward compatible with Java 1.7. When Java 1.7 has come into picture, it was backward compatible with 1.6. But that's not the same case with Python. Two different versions have two different way of working. So that's why, still the 2.x is in the market, and it does have a support till 2020. So which we uh, which we will be learning is definitely the 3.x. So let's start with the actual part. This was overall about the introduction of Python, and definitely, to run a Python program, we need an environment. We have an interpreter like IDE, that is integrated development environment, and we have a Genie, the prompt, Python prompt, and definitely the program should be, named with the extension .py. So let's download it. Let's download. So let me use the official website. Let me copy paste. Well, where it is. Yeah. So yeah, this is the official website where we can download Python. So let me download. Already I have downloaded and it takes a very, minimal amount, a couple of minutes. not much of your time. So just double click on it. Okay, since I have already installed 3.7, which is already running. So, okay, let me close it. Okay, let me open it, and you can see that this is the window. Okay, see, you can see here, this is the window. When you double click on it, you can find this console where we can type anything which is related to the program. So let's continue. Uh, uh, in the console, what see what I'm doing is, let me do a simple mathematics addition, nothing much. So I'm taking a variable x and I'm assigning the value as 3. So yeah, we heard a word called variable, right? So what is variable? Basically, variable is a container where we can put our values. So here, x is a variable. So, x is a variable which acts like a container. That container has a name as x, and we are putting the value 3 in it. And let me take one more variable y, and I'm assigning the value as 4. So here assigning how it works is, I'm using equals is an assignment operator. So y is a container where the container is named as y, and the value 4 is put into that. Okay, so let me perform an addition here, x plus y. So what must be the value? Definitely it must be 7. So in that way we can perform a simple calculation here. So now what I'm doing is, I'm going to change the value of y. See, so again let me perform the addition. So now what must be the value? So it must be x plus y. X is the value. Now the x value is changed to 5, and the value of y is 4. So that is 5 plus 4, 9. So how 9? So x had a value 3 earlier. Now it has been replaced with a new value, that is 5. So when we perform an operation, arithmetic operation, the result is 9. So now, so anything. So in that case, so when we are telling about the variable, anything you can name. I have named as x. You can ABC. So I'm getting error. So name is not defined. So just you cannot write. You have to provide some values to it. So then it is. So when if you want to know what the value is stored in ABC, just type ABC and you get the value as 56. So anything, any identifier, whatever the rules are applicable for identifier, the same rules is applicable for variable. So this is about the variables. We can add, we can anything, any kind of operations we can perform here. So far in that case, so far the things which we have discussed is about the introduction part. So in the introduction we have discussed about like what is Python, why it is so useful, and why we should learn it. as I have told, anybody can learn easily because it doesn't have restrictions like other programming languages has. You don't need to follow any syntax. You might have seen the example which I had shown. X is equal to 3 I gave at the beginning. Later, in that console itself, we have performed some calculations and later have changed the value of x to something else. Then, again, I have performed some calculations and any name can be given to the variable. And just by typing that variable, you'll get to know what it has, what it contains. So that way, if at all, if you take any programming language, first you need to declare it is of which type. Then you have to assign the value. Then you have to use, particular print statement to print it. So all such things will be avoided in program. I mean the Python. So as I said, it is easiest language to learn. Definitely, it is a very easiest program in that case. Okay. Um, One second. Okay. Let's continue with the next topic, that is variable system. Okay. Assignment. Yeah. Assignment. Well, a single value can be assigned to multiple variables at the same time. See, it means A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 1. It means the value of A is 1, the value of B is 1, the value of C is 1. Okay. Uh, let me show it in fact in that. See, if you see this, you'll get to know. See, what I'm doing is A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 1. See, it means the value of A is also 1, the value of B is also 1, the value of C is also 1. So at the same time, the value, say, a single value can be assigned to multiple variables. So if we see this, we can assign multiple objects to multiple variables. In the example, as you are seeing, A, comma B, comma C is equal to 1, comma 2, comma John. It means, see, A is assigned with 1, B is assigned with 2, and C is assigned with a string type. So let's do this example also. Uh, A, comma B, comma C is equal to 1, comma 2, comma whatever, the same example. So A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, and C is equal to John. So in that way, we can do multiple assignments even. Then, so yeah, the next thing is data types. Standard data, it has some standard data types. Python has some standard data types in it. So why it is so important, data types? because we have worked with variables, right? Everything was working now. When you work on a project, it's very important to understand whatever the data you're working with so that you can process the data in that format. Because if you don't process the data in that particular format, you might face other, or maybe you may have a lot of horrifying bugs in the project. So whatever the data types we have, that is numbers or numeric, string, list, tuple, dictionary. So these are the five standard data types it has. In that case, the first one is numbers or numeric, and again it has and again under the number or the numeric, it has multiple types. That is integer, int, float, complex, bool. It means where int, where it is a unsigned integer, you can provide with the plus. I mean, this is 10. Just 10 is nothing but a positive number, and minus 786. So like this, we can provide integer values, and float, when it is treated as float, when it has a decimal point in it, it is treated as a floating point number. And complex values, real and integer, real and a complex value, and boolean, where it has a true or false value in it. So let's see this example one by one. Okay, wait a second. Okay, let's use Python prompt to understand that example. Well, see, x is equal to 3. Okay, I'm giving x is equal to 3. So now x is of type integer because I have given an integer value. To know it, you can write like this. So now we got to know that x is of type integer. Suppose y is equal to 5.6. So to know it is of which type, so just type y. So it is of type float. So the next thing was complex. So what I'll do is complex. Let me pass these. Okay, before that, let me take one more variable, z, which is 6. Okay, then complex. Let me use this x and z. So okay, so now you can see, or what I'll do is let me take one more variable as c, and let me assign that complex x comma z. So now c, which is of type complex, you can see type of c. So type of c is complex. So we have seen the type of, the value when it is assigned x is equal to 3, where 3 is a integer value. So we can find it out with the help of this method, that is type of that variable. That is the result is showing it as an integer, and when you provide a decimal values, so it shows it as a float, and you can create a complex number like this, and you can find, and if you assign to any of the variable, it shows it is of type complex. And let me perform some operation here. D is equal to x, whether x is less than z. So now check, it provides a boolean value because x less than z, that x is less than z. If so, either a true or a false value stored in D. So type of D, so which is of type bool. Let me check what is the value of D. That is true. See, uh, x is less than z. So x value is, what is the value of x? 3. Z 6. So definitely x is 3 is less than 6, true. So if we check it in the opposite way, d is equal to x greater than z. So what is the value of d? D is false. And if at all, if you want to know the what type it is, so just provide type of d. So it provides it is of type boolean. So in this way, we can provide the values, and we can check it is of which type. So this is about number or about the numeric. So let's move further with the other data type, that is string. So Python string. So Python string, when we are storing a value into the variable, either we can mention it with the single quote or with a double quote. And especially the indexes, each string is nothing but a group of character, and each character will have a indexes, and that index starts from 0. And in string, plus is a concatenation operator and star is a repetition operator. If at all, if you want to print multiple times, so star and that number can be provided. And it is immutable, meaning they cannot be changed once it is assigned. So we have seen the previous example. What I had done is x is equal to 3 I have given. Later I have changed it into 5 or 6. So that is mutable. But when it comes to string, it is immutable. Let's see it, how that works. Let's see it in this. So where? So let me take an example. Um, okay, since A is equal to um, hello. So A is of type string. So you can check the type, its type. So that is A. So it is of type string. So what I'm doing is either I said like it can be, the value can be provided either in the double quotes or in the single quote. See, okay. So again, let me check the type of it, which is of type string. So you can check the value of A and you can check the value of B, hello world. So say a double quote, single quote, anything it can be. And what we had done, the next statement was, it is immutable. So let me try to change the value of it with hello. Okay. So once it is done, it cannot be, it's assigned. It cannot be changed. So then, so here, if we see, it can be like the value of A. Okay, since I have used a new one, hello, and B is equal to world. So A value is hello and B value is world. So plus is a concatenation operator. So A plus B, hello world. So let's see some more examples. Here we can see A plus B, where as I said before, it's a plus is the concatenation operator here. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So see, where str is a variable which is assigned with the string hello world. So if at all, if you want to print it, either we can use the print statement or directly we can give str. To perform certain operations, we have to, use the print statement. So for that sake, It's been used print str. And see, as I said, each character has its own index and it starts from 0. So let's perform some operations on string. So see, let me take the same example, that is hello world. Okay, if you want to print, you can use like this. It prints hello world. And if you want to access the any particular character from that, you can provide it with the index value. Print, what I'm doing is from the str variable, I want to print the first letter. See, h is the first one. In that case, if you want to print any of the particular character, fifth character, so in that case 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space is also considered as a character. So in that case, nothing will be printed. I mean, the space is printed, but which is not visible to us. So 65 W is getting printed. And you can see here, if it what the next statement is, print. Okay. So if you want to print the characters starting from third to up to seventh, not the seventh index, seventh character will not be printed. So that's called slicing. It can be done in this way. And from the second index, if you want to print the entire string, so this statement can be used. And if you want that particular string to be printed, the number of times, that can be mentioned like this: tr star 2. As I said, star is a repetition operator, and concatenation. So let's perform this operation. So what I'm doing is print. So from the second character till sixth character. See, 0, 1, 2. So from the second, LLO space W 7. 7 is what? 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Only sixth character. 6. Up to 7 means 6. Till the index 6 will be printed. And again, from the second index, if you want the entire string to be printed, we can give like this. And if we want it to be repeated, the number of times, how many times you want the that particular string to be printed, that can be mentioned, either 2 or 3 or 4, anything. So that many times, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. In that way, since I have given 4 times it has been printed. And the last one, okay, here let's do the concatenation str plus, okay, I'm adding something, that is test. Hello world test is okay. I have to give it as a string properly. So either a single quote or a double quote, anything can be. So now hello world test. So in this way, the string operations can be performed in Python. So, okay. So as we have discussed uh, the variables and the data types. So the number, so basically it has 5 basic data types, that is number, so numeric, string, list, tuple, dictionary. which we are going to see further. So then in the number we had four types of in that integer, float, complex, and boolean, where int with it's an unsigned integer which takes positive and negative numbers, float which has a decimal point in it, so that is treated as a floating point values, and complex which has a real and imaginary part in it, and boolean which has a true and false. The value stored within is true and false. And string, the operations which we have performed. String, either you store it in with a double quotes or with a single quote, and we can print it with the help of print statement. And each character can be accessed with the help of indexes in this way, as we have seen certain examples, and it can be printed multiple times, and plus is used as a concatenation operator.